And welcome back, everybody. I'm Dr. Chris Tomczak from Health Source.
Dr. Don Besessi, also with Health Source.
All right, and today we want to talk about something that's pretty relevant because this revolves around
It's big and getting bigger.
Big and getting bigger every single day. And we're talking about obesity in America today because this relates to the healthcare reform updates or debacles, don't you think?
It relates to everything, I think.
And you had an interesting statistic for me on obesity. What was that?
With the United States right now, roughly 2/3 of our population is overweight.
2/3?
In varying degrees, from bad to worse. 2/3 of the population of the United States is overweight.
6 out of 10.
2/3 of the population. Now, 2/3 of the 2/3 right now are either starting diet plans or going from one diet plan to another diet plan, or starting up the same diet plan because it failed the first time. So in two of those three scenarios, it's failed diet plans, they're trying something else, and in one of those, they're just trying to do something. So roughly half of our population right now is at least trying to get a hold of that weight problem that they have going on.
That's astonishing.
Yeah. What is the story with generations right now? Aren't we in a situation where this is the first generation that is not expected to exceed the lifespan of the previous generation? That's horrible.
That's pathetic.
Yeah.
That is, I hope you agree, that's kind of awful, isn't it? It's absolutely awful. And I have in my sweaty hands right here an article that was in a magazine from last week, which was, interestingly enough, Forbes. And they always have these things on health. And it says here that 32.2% of all Americans are obese. There's a difference between obese and overweight. Overweight means you're overweight. Obese means you're significantly overweight.
Yeah.
And they're saying that 32.2% of Americans are obese, whereas Japan, 3%.
Yeah.
France, 9.5%. Germany, 13%. Canada, 18%. And Australia is about the closest to us at 21.7%, yet we're at 32.2% obese. Now, understand this. Costs attributable to being obese, it costs 10% of our healthcare spending in America,
Yeah.
10% is directly because people are obese. And obese people, if you're obese, you spend 36% more on healthcare and you spend 77% more for medications, because you typically become diabetic if you're obese for some period. 77% more for medications if you're obese. You want to talk about why healthcare in America has been shown to be more expensive than a lot of other countries. This article is stating that basically that's the main reason, is because we eat too much.
Well, which is really interesting too, because to pick on it from a different angle, we're one of those few countries where what are considered to be our poor population are overweight. Mm-hmm. I mean, in most countries, when someone is poor, it means they don't have access to the food. You've seen the pictures of the wasting away. In the United States, we've got an even greater likelihood of being overweight because of poor nutritional choices, poor health habits, poor living habits.
There's a word for that when you have a distended stomach and abdomen because you don't have enough nutrition.
Yes.
Let's go. Remember?
I don't offhand.
Kwashiorkor.
Wow.
There you go.
I'd have gotten it on multiple choice. C. It would have been C.
Yeah, and I saw I saw a program on cable just the other night, and it showed this real obese, very, very obese family going out to McDonald's and Burger King for their dinner.
And you know what? And again, it's not even just like, the way people want to look at some things right now. They attach the dollar signs, and I don't want to attach a dollar sign to it. I look at it more as a quality of life. Think about the mm-hmm. people that are afraid to engage in activities because of the way they look. Some people now won't fly because they don't want to have to go through the hassle of what they go through on a plane if they can't fit in the seat. They won't go to the beach. They won't go on family vacations. They won't go to see friends or family members that they haven't seen in a while because they're just too embarrassed.
Yep.
And so then, and when you have that much, so now it's a physical problem that's also going to have mental side effects, and it all kind of piles up. I would much rather see a happier population.
That's right. We see that in my backyard. I've got a nice pool in the backyard, and we have lots of events where, for the kids' ball games and whatnot, we have their parents over and everything. And a lot of parents will not get in a bathing suit because of the way they look. It's no way to live. That's no way to live. You need to figure out, is that the way you want to live if that's one of the issues facing you? I'd say look up Health Source weight loss systems. And they've got a phenomenal product.
Absolutely. And it's just one of those things, take control of your own life.
That's right. Dr. Chris Tomczak.
Dr. Don Bassesi.
Follow us on Twitter. Look us up on Facebook.
Tweet.